Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Budget Senpai. Today I'll be showing you how I use sub-accounts in GnuCash to sort of keep my savings account a little more robust and a little more useful. So the reason I use sub-accounts in my savings account really is so that I can set goals and see what I'm actually saving up for. And it's also not only goals, but I'm setting up little buckets of money to be used in cases of emergency or for things that are routine that I need to plan for. So this has been a really powerful tool that I've been using a long time in GnuCash. You can use it with any double entry bookkeeping system that you're using. And I hope that it provides some insight to you and is helpful. So let's take a look at our GnuCash. So I've set up kind of a basic setup here. We've got a checking account and a savings account. And you can see here in my checking account, I have a total of $4,000 currently. And in the savings account, I have $2,000. And that's comes about through these records here. We've got opening balances. We got a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th of every month. Spent some money on groceries, paid rent, etc. Just, some good examples. Within our savings account, I just put the opening balances because we don't have anything on record yet for transactions. So let's look at how we do it normally, putting money into our savings account. Let's go into our checking account here. And we'll choose today's date, which is the 25th of December. Merry Christmas. And we're going to put a description here. We're going to say, move money into our savings account like a normal, boring person. No offense to anyone who does it the normal, boring way. So what are we going to do for the transfer? We're going to choose the money, the account we're putting that money into, which is our assets, current assets savings account. And we are withdrawing, let's put $500 from our checking account into our savings account, right? All right, so 500. Great. So now you can see we have a transaction here that is withdrawing $500, and our balance went from $4,000 down to $3,500 for the checking account. And if we Control W out of that tab and open up our savings account, we can see that $500 is here, and our balance went up from $2,000 to $2,500. So I'll hit save and close. So, that's how you'd normally do, if you wanted to put some money into your savings account from your checking account, that's the way to do it. And when you get your bank statement, you would see that that same transaction would go from your checking account to your savings account. So what we're going to do now is build some virtual accounts or sub accounts, and these will not show up on your bank statement because they are virtual. They're things that we are just doing to help break down our money even further. So if you think of your checkings account and your savings account like envelopes that you put money inside, think of these virtual accounts as even smaller envelopes inside of those envelopes. Hey dog, I heard you like envelopes. So I put some envelopes inside your envelopes, but that's exactly what we're going to do. And the way we do that in GnuCash is we first create a sub account underneath this main savings account. You right click on savings account and click on new account. And let me drag my window to the right spot. Here we go. So we got to give it a name. Actually, before we even give it a name, let's double check that we're in the right spot here. Parent account. It is indeed savings account. It's highlighted in blue. If you wanted to change that, or if it was the wrong one, you could just click on whatever you wanted it to be. But for right now, we want the parent account to be our savings account. All right, account name. We're going to come up with two different sub accounts. We're going to have one that's a lot of fun and one that is, well, just doing what needs to be done for anyone who drives a car or an automobile of any type. We're going to make a car savings account. Let's do that one first. Let's get it out of the way. Car savings is the account name. Description, you could just say saving up for car repairs, oil changes, tires, etc. And you just tap enter on your keyboard or hit OK. And then now you can see next to savings account, we have this little arrow that we can toggle to see the sub accounts. And here's our car savings. Let's make another one. You click once on savings account, make sure this one's the one highlighted, and right click on it and do new account again. And here's the fun one. We are going to make this one travel funds. Description, saving up for vacations and traveling. Okay. So you hit enter on the keyboard or just press OK right here. And so now we've got our two sub accounts. So let's move some money from our savings account and let's divide it into one of these mini envelopes. Okay, so double click on your savings account here and choose the date. Again, Merry Christmas, December 25th. Description, set money aside for car repairs. And we're going to tab over to transfer here, and we're transferring money from our savings account to our savings account car savings account. And tab, we're going to withdraw 500 because again, we're taking money out of our savings account and putting it into a sub account of our savings account. So it is like a withdrawal, but note that it's not going to show up on your bank statement because the bank has no idea you're doing this with your money. This is a concept. It's like a virtual account. Okay. So now if we close out of there and go into our car savings sub account, we can see that we have a balance now of $500, which is great. Let's set some money aside for travel funds. Let's do the same exact thing. Let's go into savings account and we'll put money aside for a vacation. And we're going to transfer this into our travel funds account. And let's also withdraw 500, hit enter, Control W to close out of that account. And now you can see our savings account has a total of 2,500 right here, including 500 in car savings and 500 in travel funds. All right, so something to note here. This total, 2,500, is the actual total amount of dollars inside of your savings account. So this will be the number, hopefully match up on your bank statement. That's how much money you actually have inside the account. If you double click on this parent folder, this savings account, you'll notice the balance is only 1,500. So don't panic. That's because 1,000 of that is in these sub accounts. So it's up to you. There's really two ways to go about handling this. It may not bother you at all, but if it does bother you, there's an option. We can make this savings account a placeholder account so that you cannot record transactions to it at all. So let's start out with leaving it just as it is. And let's say, for example, let's say we get paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And let's say that last week, on the 19th, Thursday, we just decided we decided to put money into our savings account, and we would transfer this directly to this top level savings account right here. And we withdrew $1,000. Okay. So that transaction goes directly into this root account. Yeah, put money into our savings account. Now, if we want to turn this savings account into a placeholder, we can do that by right-clicking on it, going to Edit Account, and in this case, we're just going to click the placeholder checkbox, and it'll tell you when you hover over it exactly what it does. This account is present solely as a placeholder in the hierarchy. Transactions may not be posted to this account, only to sub-accounts of this account. So what that's going to do for us, and I'm actually, let's see, if I do that now and hit OK, it's not going to let me even double click or do anything here. So now if I double click it, it's just going to expand and collapse these sub accounts. I can't write anything to it. A better way to do that before you turn it into a placeholder is to first create a new sub account. So we're going to right click on savings account, do new account, account name, general savings. Use this account for pretty much everything. Everything that is not a specific goal or not a specific sub account. And I'm just going to hit OK. And general savings, if I want it to be up top, I can just right click and go to edit account and just add a 1 space dash space in front of it so that it jumps to the top because it's in alphabetical order. Just, you know, if you want it to be up there. And then what I'm going to do now is every single penny that's inside of this root savings account, I'm going to move it into that sub account. So if you look at the balance right now, it's $2,500. I'm going to make one last transaction inside of this parent account. Move everything to general savings. And I'm going to transfer to this 1- general savings that we just created. I'm going to withdraw the entire 2,500 right here, the entire 2,500 balance. So now I have $0. All right, Control S to save, Control W to close that tab. So now you can see here that my general savings, 2,500, plus car savings, 500, plus travel funds, 500, equals my total $3,500. This way makes a lot more sense to me. It's the way that I do it. I leave this account as a placeholder. You can either just remember to use it as a placeholder, or you can right click on it, go to edit account, and check that placeholder box, hit OK, and now you can't even double click it to open it. You cannot add any transactions to it. Any transactions that you want to make, you'll have to do either to the general savings or to one of these sub accounts. So for example, let's start working in the future. Let's say next month, let's say January 3rd on a Friday. We're going to put more money into savings, transfer. Oh, what happened to our savings account? We only have 1, 2, 3 options, as before we had 4. Because the savings account root level now is a placeholder, we don't write any transactions to it. So if we're moving money into our savings account, we don't know exactly what we want to do with it just yet. You know, this is just like, we're just going to put money in there, figure out what to do with it later. It's not necessarily for travel funds. It's not necessarily for car savings. It could be later, But at this moment in time, we just want to take money from our checking account and put it into our savings account. So we choose this general savings sub account that we created, and let's withdraw another 500 and hit enter. And you'll see this little blue line. This indicates that anything below the blue line is a future scheduled transaction. Has not actually happened yet. You can use these, say you go log into your bank account and set a transaction to take place in a week or now. You can at least put it into GnuCash, and so you don't have to do it later. And you'll see this little blue line for anything that is going to happen in the future. Okay. So now if we go into our general savings, we can see that we have an additional $500 to work with. And the nice thing about doing it this way, if we collapse the entire savings account, all the sub accounts, hide them, this total will always match what our bank statement is. That this is an accurate total, and you can double click to expand, and you can do some quick math. 3,000, and then you add 500 and 500, which is 1,000. That definitely equals 4,000. So we're on the right track with this method. I prefer using a placeholder versus keeping it all accessible. It just makes more sense to my brain. So do it however makes sense to you. So now that we've got this, all right, we've got our general savings. Think of this as like your regular savings account. Now we can move money from here. Let's just say, working in next month, we'll go January 8th, put money aside for travel / vacation. So we can transfer from this general savings account. We can go to our travel funds. So withdraw 250 from there. And then let's also set money aside for car repairs. Okay. And the transfer, we're going to go to car savings, and let's do another 250. Split that down the middle. Now you can see here our savings account, that number has not changed. We still have $4,000 inside of our savings account. If we were to go to the bank and say, how much money do I have in my savings account? It would be 4,000. But what we've done is we've allocated funds to use for different things, and we can set goals with these. The easiest way that I found to set a goal is to just right click on the sub account that you want to modify, click edit account, and then after the account name, I just put in parentheses, like how much my goal is. So travel funds. In general, it'd be my goal right now to have $2,000 sitting in that travel funds bucket. So that any given time, I'll have $2,000 that I can use towards a vacation. So right now I can see I'm at $750. So each month I can put a little money inside of there until I reach that 2,000. And then I can either reassess my goals or just start putting money into other sub accounts, save maybe, maybe make car savings, try to save up $3,000 just in case, tires are expensive, oil changes are expensive, everything's expensive. So you got to set some money aside for those things. And then when it comes to actually spending that money, you got a few ways you can do it. So most people pay their credit cards and stuff from a checking account. If you're using a debit card, it'll come directly out of here. So when it comes to the actual transaction, say we need to get an oil change, right? So in car savings here, double click here. We've got a balance of $750. And if you need to get an oil change, like let's say we're doing an oil change today, you can move money to checking account. And honestly, you could just leave it just like that. Right right now we're just going to move money to our checking account so that we can use our debit card to make the purchase. All right, we're taking money out of this sub account for saving up for car repairs, and we're moving it into a checking account that we can use our debit card on. And then in this case, we'll just transfer this to our checking account, and let's take out $120 because oil changes are like about $100. So now we've got that 120, and if we check our checking account, you can see that we've got that $120 transaction showing up as a deposit on this side. And now we can use that money. Let's just say, oil change. And then oil change would be underneath an expense, auto repair and maintenance. And let's say it cost us $100 even. So you put $100 there. All right, so there's the money we moved from our savings account. We moved $120 and we spent 100 of that. And so now we've got, extra $20 left over in our checking account that we've could either leave there or put it back on the account. It's really up to you how you want to handle that. So yeah, that's the way that I use sub accounts to keep track of some of my financial goals. And I feel like it's a better way to utilize if you have a savings account. If you just throw a bunch of money into a savings account and don't really set clear goals as to what you're going to do with that money, there's a good chance you're going to make bad decisions with it. You're going to use it in ways that are just not maybe the best for what you need to be doing. So, I would encourage you, if you haven't already started playing around with GnuCash or double entry bookkeeping, get on board. There's really nothing to lose. Like you might really like it, and it might really help organize your finances. And if it's not for you, there's a million other ways to budget. But if you are using GnuCash, this is definitely a good little tip that I have found, and it's kept my money organized. It's kept me feeling relaxed, knowing that I've got these buckets of money that are sitting there, and I know exactly what's happening with my savings account. And, as you're itemizing every single transaction, it also causes you to think like a little bit more about what you're doing with your money. It makes you more mindful of it. So in the same way that if someone's going on a diet, they might want to record every single calorie they take in. Budgeting is the same thing. If you are taking the time to type an entry for every little movement of money, you're going to pay more attention to what you're spending your money on, and you're going to do a better job of balancing your budget. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be posting a lot more videos on using GnuCash. This one maybe is like almost like a beginner to intermediate level. So if you're comfortable using GnuCash, this might make a lot of sense to you. If you've never used this program or never seen accounting or double entry bookkeeping before, it might not make sense right away. But if you stick with it, it will make sense. So, all right, y'all. Stay blessed. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.